Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my talk tonight. Usually I come on here and I have a really, kind of aggressive form of talking in a subject that I want to bring up, but not today. This particular one, I just kind of wanted to introduce death shrouds. And I know it looks kind of creepy, but this is what it would actually look like. And I'm going to get out of the picture, but in my world, for what I create as an artist, and also that it just kind of goes along with my calling. So this is a death shroud, and this that I'm particularly using is an unbleached organic cotton. As you can see, it is the typical shape, and what would happen would be there would be your loved one that would be wrapped up in here after the body cleansing, and from there it would go to wherever the burial was going to take place. But I don't want to get too deep into that. One of the things that I always do in my lives is I always keep real straight to what it is as far as, my death walking life looks like. And tonight it was just kind of a little bit of a, here you go. This is kind of my private side of being a death walker. This is my downtime. I really, really, really am a creative person at heart, and I've painted, and I've created coloring books, and I've illustrated children's books, and been in galleries, and I have done art shows, and I have been so graced to have almost all of my artwork sell. And I'm very touched in the soul by what I do, and I don't really have a specific genre other than I do things on canvases, and I find canvases that move me from my soul. One day it may be an actual canvas, the next day it may be a pair of jeans, and lately it's been the death shrouds. The death shroud, they've been used for centuries across all kinds of cultures and religions as well. And it's just a very nice way of wrapping and kind of putting the last little dignity of the deceased before the burial or the cremation, in whichever you're going to do. Some of the earliest shrouds, if you think back, were probably like animal skins, and there were probably some, I would imagine back, when they did the mummifications and stuff, I would imagine they had some beautiful, beautiful cloth and tapestries that they used. And I bet you they were quite scientific so that they would, serve their purpose of whatever the burial process was. So it's nothing that has just all of a sudden popped up. It really has been a tradition and a ritual, one that I grew up with anyways. There's all kinds of traditions, I guess, or I wouldn't say traditions. I would say symbolism and simplicity. I know the Jewish custom, for example, when they do their death shroud, it's a very simple white cloth, and I really don't know what the cloth is, but I do know it's a very simple garment, and it's a simplicity of ensuring that wealth and status doesn't dilute the person's final resting time, I guess, just to kind of make them, just for it to be simple, a simple, dignified loved one. There are so many reasons why this has meaning for me. My grandmother was buried in a shroud, and as well as my mom. And so I have a lot of background in my family with it. And it just seems like something that I should put forth. My daughter, she was not in a death shroud. She was in a typical funeral burial process with the casket and everything like that. So anyways, this is just something that I have really started looking into. I started kind of following my grams and my mom's background, and it's the one that I have based on the fact that they were, the matriarchs that I lived with. This has also become, since we have kind of had this death movement, and we have death doulas coming up, and we have deathwalkers coming out, and just a whole lot of people who are coming into the death scene. And so this is kind of a natural way. This is kind of getting back to our roots. This is kind of remembering that there's a natural way to go, and that it is a green way to go. This cloth here will disintegrate in time. It will leave really no, it will leave nothing of its existence other than that it will have turned and returned to the natural essence of the soil. I didn't really have a whole lot planned today. I just kind of wanted to freak y'all out a little bit. No, that's not true. I just wanted to kind of give you all an idea of what a death shroud looks like, and what it looks like if and when you put a loved one in it. And so I'm going to make this real simple and sweet, and I'm not going to hang out too much longer here. I have a few things to do when I get into my creative side. I just kind of want to focus on that. But I do have a private showing coming up. I will be artistically creating 2 new shrouds. I had 2 earlier at the first of the year, and they are done privately, and I will send out invitations when they're ready. You are amply welcome to send me a request if you would like to check them out. They are private viewing. At the end, both of them will be for sale. They are one of a kind, so the minute that I finish them, they will be put in authentic packaging ware that will keep them absolutely in pristine cure until they're ready to be used. But anyways, thanks guys. I'm just going to kind of be walking in and out, and I'm going to leave this here so you really have a good idea of what a death shroud would look like. I also have my Indian blanket from my mother. And so this is what somewhat of a ritual blanket that I would sit on, and my loved one would be right here, and it would be ready. Excuse all the arts and the patterns and stuff, but I just wanted to give you a general concept, and this would be a place where the final viewing for people could come in and their final goodbyes or whatever before the body is carried out. So just take a look at it. Have a good little session about it. There are so many ways that you can do the death shrouds. I mean, and you notice that I have this person facing in the south. The south is an excellent position to represent the dead in the feng shui course of living, and that's something that I take very much to heart in the dying and burial process. I do have feng shui background. I am certified in it. My particular interest is not so much the home decorating and the inventing of space, although my whole house is done that way. My feng shui that I attune to is more along the lines of the burial process and how feng shui is used for that. And the south is a very prominent, very prominent position. I do it on the diagonal simply because, and it can be done either way. The diagonal for me, it's easier in crossing as an artist. I am much more able to finesse it and work how I want. I'm also able very quickly to open it up and lay in all my packages of herbs and stuff that I would like to. And beeswax plays a process in my shrouds, as well as I try to use all natural dyes if I can. I use a lot of the sepia, I use a lot of coffees, I use a lot of teas to create the designs. So I do my very best to keep it as natural and as simple as I can. A lot of people have asked before I step away whether I take requests. At this particular time, I really don't. Like I said, I have 3 private showings a year, so I do 6 of these. And it is by invitation only. You are welcome to request if you would be interested in them. I've had a lot of requests for people to show me, to ask for me to show them what the other 2 shrouds look like. This is a very confidential and a very private, personal thing that I do when I create these, and the people who buy them in the private viewings, it's really up to them at that particular juncture. And many of them do not want the pictures placed online before they're actually inside the shroud and their families can honor them and love them and be the ones to see the shroud when the actual dying process has. So that's an answer to that question that comes in a lot. My designs are things that come to me, whether it's through rituals that I perform on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. Sometimes it's just something that I dream about. But anyone who knows my style, anyone who has followed me, who has looked at Sweet Pea's Twisted Nursery Rhymes or anything like that, you have a pretty good idea of what my artistic style is. And but anyways, like I said, I just wanted to kind of give everyone a concept of what a death shroud would look like if your loved one was in there, and what kind of space that, you know, it would be done on. This is just a spare bedroom that I use. A lot of my ritual stuff, I have a whole side over here that has just supplies. But I wanted to just bring it to the screen for a minute. No, there is no body in here. It is just my version of a body. I do special effects and it's a Halloween gimmick that is underneath here, but it works perfectly. Going back to the diagonal, you can also lay the person from south to north in the straightforward position and also wrap that. And in my next video, this one's going to be, you know, kind of different. In my next one, I will show you what the other way looks like. And I'll have a few other little tricks up and down my sleeve for the next one. So anyways, just go ahead and, you know, kind of take a look at it and kind of understand, and if you can, feel what something like this would do. If I could actually have you feel the garment, it's beautiful. And like I said, this is unbleached, 100% all natural cotton. There is nothing on it yet. I won't give away all my secrets on here because there is a ritual involved when I create these. So I'm giving you strictly the artistic, musy side, if you will. I don't know, I have a few notes here. In some cultures, shrouds are often done for protection. We did put in my mother's and my grams, we did put protection items, certain things that she had blessed or she had blessed. There were certain items that contained a great deal of her energy. So those when we made the shrouds, when they were made, handmade, they were crafted into the garment. So it does offer protection. It does offer ritual and ceremony and tradition. It is going back to the old ways. It is ancient. It is something that has been around since probably the beginning of humans and how we dealt with our dying and dead. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to leave this here for a minute, and I'm going to be walking in and out. I'll check in and out. But this is a death shroud. So thanks, and I'll be back in a little bit. Hi there. Oh, I just wanted to come in, and these would be a couple things that I would use that I just keep in the lime of that. And this is usually filled with tobaccos and herbs and stuff like that. My way of saging, I would be saging over the shroud right now. So anyways, I thought I would just kind of do that and let you all kind of have an idea of what it would look like. So anyways, I don't know really too much what else I can say or do about it. I just kind of wanted to bring everybody in for a minute and give you an idea of what a death shroud looks like. And I guess what I can do too is I will move my camera just a little bit closer, and maybe you can really kind of get an idea of what it looks. Again, all that is just my artistic stuff, and my case down here just has things that I need. So anyways, thanks guys. Thanks so much for joining in. Like I said, this is a short one. I have been really in deep musy form to create and work on my art. So I have a little surprise. I finished my next kids book. That's right, I did. I finished it. It's completely written. So good night, everyone. And join me on Friday, and I will show you another death shroud position. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.